I broke up with Marco to make him prove he wanted me. That's the ugliest way to say it, and the only way that tells the truth. I wanted a scene. The kind I'd seen in shows where the guy argues in a kitchen under yellow light and says, "No, I'm not letting you go." I wanted to be wrestled back from the cliff I put myself on. I wanted to hear that I was worth inconvenience, big gestures, even a little begging. Instead, I got one word and the sound of a door that had been closing quietly for a long time. "Okay," he said. He didn't blink like a man blindsided. He didn't reach for me. He looked at the counter where my coffee was leaving a ring and moved it gently onto a coaster, then nodded once, like we'd agreed on which way to turn at a light. Okay. I had rehearsed. I had lines. "This isn't working," I began, and I meant it like a dare. "Maybe we need time apart." That is the line cowards use when they hope to be contradicted. He looked at me the way he looks at a blueprint. Not angry, just reading. "Thank you for telling me," he said. Then he added, with the softness that had always made me trust him, "I'm not going to try to talk you out of what you decided." It wasn't the scene. It wasn't even a raised voice. It was worse. It was a boundary spoken calmly by a man who believed me the first time. I wanted to snatch the words back. I wanted to say, "I didn't decide, I performed." But the performance had already landed, and Marco wasn't interested in watching the rest of the play. He wiped his hands on the dish towel, set it on the oven handle like he does when he wants the kitchen to feel finished, and said, "I'll send you an email in an hour about logistics. Please don't call. Email is better for both of us right now." I have always hated when people say logistics in a fight. It sounds like a meeting notice wearing people skin. He meant kindness. No escalation, no mess. I heard rejection. "Don't you want to know why?" I asked, desperate to get us into a scene I knew the lines for. "Not if the why is a test," he said. "I don't sit for those anymore." He left the apartment without taking anything. He knew what mattered and what didn't and refused to carry anything that wasn't his, including me. The email came exactly when he said, 7:13 p.m. "I'll move to my cousin's for the week. You can have the apartment through the end of the month. I'll remove my card from utilities on the 1st. Links below to add yours before then. We're month to month. If you want to stay, you can. If you want to terminate, I attached the 30-day notice form. If you sign by the 15th, we avoid the rollover. I'll pick up my things Saturday 10 to 12 with a friend. If that window doesn't work, suggest 2 alternatives by email. Please don't contact me via text/DM or through friends. Email only. No smear on my side. We're not aligned should be enough for anyone who loves us." He signed with M because he's efficient even when his heart is broken. Here is the part one don't want to write. I didn't break up because Marco was cruel, inattentive, or unfaithful. I broke up because he is steady, and I am addicted to proof. He doesn't perform love with fireworks. He performs it by replacing the weather strip on a drafty window, and labeling the storage bins, and noticing when my favorite pen runs out, and ordering refills before I know the model number. He is the guy who puts the phone charger on my side of the bed because he got the long cord, and the guy who carries the heavy bag without making it a fable. The week before, my friend Tessa posted an engagement video. The man had filled a rooftop with flowers that looked imported from a planet where petals never rot. He cried when he asked. She cried harder. 6 million strangers cried in the comments. I watched it 3 times and then looked at Marco attaching a magnet strip to the inside of our cabinet for the knives so the counter would be clear, and I thought, stupidly, this is not a rooftop. We'd been together 3 years. We'd moved in last spring when my lease ended and his roommate got married. We talked about a dog sometime after summer, and a wedding, next year probably. I kept translating probably to prove it. So I did the thing girls on messy podcasts prescribe. I made an ultimatum without calling it that. Maybe we need time apart, I said in a tone meant to invite resistance. It invited consent. I called my best friend, Jasmine, as soon as he left. He said okay. I gasped like I'd swallowed a stone. Okay is an answer, she said. She didn't sound surprised. Do you want me to come over or do you want to replay the scene 18 times alone? Both, I said, and started crying the ugly cry I hate. She came over with the cinnamon rolls we keep in the freezer for emergencies, and sat cross-legged on the floor while I spun the story in circles. She nodded and asked questions like a triage nurse. When I said he was supposed to fight, she raised an eyebrow. For what? She asked. For me, I said. It sounded worse out loud than in my head. For your performance, she said gently. Saturday at 10 a.m. On the dot, Marco arrived with his friend Luis. I wasn't there because he'd asked that I not be, and he is not a man who asks for a lot. When I got back, his side of the closet was empty, the guitar gone from its stand, the toolbox missing from the hall. On the kitchen table sat a printed sheet labeled split/keep/donate. He'd checked boxes in neat pencil. He'd left the cast iron, yours. Seasoned your way. Taken the drip coffee setup, mine. Gift from my dad. Split the wine glasses 4 and 4. There was a small Ziploc with his key in it and a sticky note. USPS mail forwarding is on my name now. If anything arrives, write forwarding in place and drop at the blue box. That's how he loves. Even on his way out, he makes my errands simpler. I hate that I noticed the competence before the grief. I tried to push the scene anyway. I texted. Green bubbles. I messaged him on Instagram like a teenager, he barely uses it. I called once, then 3 times. Straight to voicemail. I emailed. Can we please talk? I didn't mean it. I just needed to know you cared. He replied an hour later, I care. I also heard you. I'm not going to argue for my sufficiency. Please respect the boundary. It felt like swallowing dry bread. It also felt like being treated like an adult. The next day, I saw him by accident at the hardware store. He was carrying a bag of anchors and a small snake plant. Marco buys a plant every time he moves because he says a living thing forces you to think past the week. He saw me. He didn't look through me. He didn't come over. He lifted his chin, the way neighbors do when they're late for something. I said his name like a question. He shook his head once, not unkindly, and kept walking. The plant's leaves glowed green in the cold light. My mother asked me what happened in the voice that means she already knows I did something unwise. I told her, we need different things, which is the line you use when the real reason is ugly. She put a hand on my hair and said, if you ever want to be begged, ask for comfort, not for theater. Mothers have a way of sliding the knife in without drawing blood. At work, my manager asked if I could join a 7:30 a.m. call. The world kept moving. My phone kept announcing other people's milestones. I muted a bridal shower chat and closed my laptop like it could keep the internet from entering the room. 3 days later, Jasmine came back with a legal pad and said, do you want to dissect this or heal from it? Both, I said again, more tired than dramatic. She wrote on the top line in big block letters, no tests. Then she made me practice sentences I should have said to Marco instead of staging a breakup. I'm scared you'll never choose a date. I need reassurance that you want to marry me. I'm ashamed I want the rooftop video because I also want your magnet knife strip, and those feel like different languages. We practiced saying them out loud until I could do it without crying. Then she asked, what would you have done if he had fought? And I realized I had not imagined that part. Somewhere underneath, I expected him to prove he was a hero and then reward him by ending the test. It's not love. It's a trap with confetti. A week later, a mutual friend posted a story from a pickup soccer game. There was Marco, laughing on the sideline with Luis, knee bandaged, hair a little messy from the wind. He looked alight. That word hurt. It also told the truth. I had been weight on a string, swinging us both around. He cut the string and kept his shape. I emailed one more time. I'm sorry I turned my fear into a pop quiz. I wanted you to wrestle me into staying, so I wouldn't have to admit I wanted you to stay. You didn't fail me. I failed the assignment I gave myself. Say the real thing kindly. He wrote back the next morning. Received. Thank you. I'm not reopening this. I wish you well. There was no cruelty in it. There was adult. If you're looking for a villain, it's me. If you're looking for a win, it's his. Not because he replaced me fast or posted thirst traps or sent my texts to a group chat. He won by not playing the game. He won by not trying to convince me that he's worthy of the life he already leads with integrity. He won by refusing to teach me a lesson with humiliation. He taught it with a coaster, a key in a Ziploc and a clean inbox. 2 Fridays after, I went to the little rooftop bar Tessa loves. It smelled like expensive gin and cut fruit. A couple got engaged in front of the view. People clapped. The woman cried the kind of cry that makes you think her face will crack from joy. I felt the twist in my chest, waited for the resentment to bloom, and was surprised when it didn't. Under the string lights, I could finally admit the truth without the soundtrack. I wanted the scene more than I wanted the man. Marco deserved someone who wants the man. If I ever get to be that person, I'm going to ask for reassurance without flame. I'm going to say, I need you, without sprinkling lighter fluid on the floor. I went home to an apartment that sounded different. Silence is not punishment. Sometimes it's dignity. I moved his coffee mug to the back of the cabinet, because it kept catching my eye. I ordered my own anchors for the shelf I had been nagging him to hang. I labeled 2 bins in the closet, and realized that order can survive heartbreak. I don't know who Marco will find next. She'll be lucky. He'll teach her how to fold towels so they stack like book spines, and he'll remember the exact way she takes her coffee, and he'll love her without stunts. I hope she's brave enough to ask for a ring without auditioning her man for a script he didn't agree to read. Some days, the urge to text him roars. It wants to say, I get it now. But I do get it now. And that's precisely why I don't. He believed me the first time. I owe him the courtesy of believing him back. If you need a moral, it's stupidly simple. Don't make love sit for tests you invented because you're scared to say what you need. Ask for the reassurance. Ask for the plan. Don't threaten the roof just to see if he'll hold the rafters. A good man will hand you a coaster and a boundary, and then choose his peace over your performance. If he does, let him win. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She broke up to test him. And he chose dignity over drama. If you're scared, say the fear. Don't stage a quiz and call it love. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks and see y'all tomorrow.